Hi, it's TT here from My Sacred Blood. Welcome or welcome back to the only channel on YouTube. Yes, we are still the only channel on YouTube that focuses exclusively on truly holistic menstrual care. And in this video, you're going to find out why. If you haven't already, do go visit the website. Digital coaching sessions are available for download, and new digital coaching sessions are always posted on the first Monday of every month. Group sessions are still going on until the end of the year, and that is the first Sunday of every month. So visit the website to sign up or to download a session now. And of course, share this video with at least one person who you feel will benefit from this content. As I'm getting ready for this video and I'm doing my hair and going over my notes, I'm seeing myself looking into the mirror and combing my edges, like slaying or laying my edges. And I'm thinking there couldn't have been a more perfect metaphor, or like the irony was just, it's exactly what I'm about to talk about now. So I'm kind of setting the notes aside, and actually I'm going to read something. Google Books recommended a book to me after I just got done reading a book. So they kind of recommend a book that's related to the one you just read. And this one's called Men and Systems. Let me just make sure. Men and Systems by James Allen. All right, so I go to read the book, just to read the first 3 pages of the book to see if it's something that I'd like. And I come across this page, which is related to what I'm about to talk about today. So he writes, human systems cannot be separated from human desires and needs. They are indeed the visible outworking of those desires and needs. A system is none other than the combined and concerted mode of action of the community. It signifies a tacit agreement on the part of all, or nearly all, that things should be so, and that things should be so and so. It is a method in which humankind agree to act. And as men act, so systems appear. As they cease to act, so they disappear. Why do I read that? Because when it comes to menstrual stigma and menstrual taboo, unfortunately, it is something that even those who are affected by it, mainly women and girls, agree to have it be that way. We've agreed to the system. We've agreed not to talk about it. Now, when it comes to menstrual stigma, I've been seeing it a lot in the news, menstrual stigma and taboo, or in menstruation news anyway. It's not quite yet in the mainstream, but those who are attempting to bring it out into the mainstream, what they'll do is they'll start talking about periods. They'll do things like post pictures of their pads or them bleeding all over the place, or their menstrual cup with blood all over their hand, and these just gross, grotesque pictures of menstruation, thinking that, okay, we're starting a conversation about menstruation and menstrual blood. Now, I do also bleed the bed by accident, and I leak, and we all do it, and we've all had that experience at some point or another, but that is still a private experience. It's not something that I'm going to post on social media, the same way that if I drink too much and I vomit, or I don't make it to the toilet, not that it happens, but if something like that were to happen, if ever you or I were to have an accident related to a bodily function, we're not going to post that on social media and act like, okay, this is a discussion point. So I feel like when women do those types of things as a means to, or as a way to start the conversation, it does exactly the opposite. It's a little off-putting to even those who are open to talking about the issue. I personally don't need or want to see women and their menstrual blood all over the place. It doesn't really start a conversation. And it's funny because those types of things are okay. Making TikToks, or men making TikToks about women's menstrual pain and laughing at our menstrual cramps and laughing at our menstrual blood, that's acceptable. It's acceptable to get shits and giggles out of menstruation and to make light of the issue if we want to talk about the issue. But channels like these are still hidden from view. They're still not mainstream, and it's still not okay to talk about the actual issues that affect menstruating women. A simple review of a menstrual cup, or even discussing bleeding after abortion, is still seen as too sensitive for advertisers. I can't tell you how many times I've had to request a review of a basic video where the mere mention of vagina is just too much. Me talking about how to wash your period or how to wash your vagina during your period is still viewed as something that's way too sensitive and taboo. And so even though we make light of the issue or we're trying to talk about the issue, doing that actually contributes to it. We're actually contributing to a system of stigma and taboo when it comes to menstruation. Menstrual stigma and taboo is so much more than just not being able to talk about periods, not being able to talk about pads and tampons and blood. It's more than just making art out of period blood. Okay, it's more than just not having access to clean water or to affordable or free period products. It's more than that. It's the root of it. And unfortunately, we're still not allowed to talk about the root of it. And that is men's insecurities when it comes to how they react, or the fact that they're not able to control themselves when they're around menstruating women and girls. Of course, no one knows exactly where this all started, but the idea that men feel powerless around women in these situations and can't control their sexual urges in these situations is something that seems to be universal. It runs through all cultures all around the world. And this powerlessness that men feel is directly related to this idea that menstruation is somehow supernatural, that menstruating women can control them as much as they can control things like nature, like the celestial bodies or the waters. Now, this is the problem with the intellectual. The intellectual wants to separate himself from nature, and we view ourselves outside of nature as something separate and apart from nature, when in fact women's bodies actually move in tune with nature. All people's bodies move in tune with nature. It's just a little bit more apparent when it comes to menstrual blood. Unfortunately, men's powerlessness when it comes to menstruation and menstrual blood has led them to want to suppress menstruating women and oppress menstruating women and girls, and to restrict our movement, our thoughts, and even our words in the way we speak about menstruation. Even the simple idea of having to change the language to make it a little bit more gender neutral, to make it easier for men to talk about it, is a form of suppression and oppression. And I'm going to get to that later on in the month. For the whole month of June, we are going to be talking about true menstrual stigma, about the root cause of it, and how we can absolutely rid the world of it, and how everyone, including men, plays a role in getting to that point. All of the persecution, the stigma that surrounds menstruation has led women to accept it, to accept the new system, the new way of life, to accept the traditions and the religious customs and other restrictions having to deal with menstruating and menstruating women. We've come to accept that because unfortunately we've pretty much given up on trying to fight for it. And right now, the way that we talk about it, taking these little baby steps and making light of the issue, is a way to kind of ease men back into it. But that's not going to work. When it comes to menstrual stigma and taboo, it's time to stop taking baby steps. We've been taking baby steps for thousands of years now. It's time to start running to that finish line, to finally get there, to get to the point where these things are not seen as taboo, where they're not seen as too sensitive to even those who sell menstrual products to menstruating women. They can sell the products, they can advertise the products, but we still can't talk openly about the period. Not here, not at My Sacred Blood. At My Sacred Blood, we are always going to speak about the whole of the issue, and we're going to be speaking honestly about it. We are going to expose menstrual stigma and taboo for what they really are. Remember, I'm going to be here every moon day at noon Eastern time. Until the next one, take care of yourself. soon.